Welcome to Fred Achando Analysis, ladies and gentlemen. I want to begin by reading a tweet from the Kakamega County Deputy Governor, Mr. Ayub Savula. This tweet has gone viral and it is now the subject of discussion. And it reads, ladies and gentlemen, is Gachagua pushing Mike Sonko to openly fight Johnson Sakaja? Kenyans need to stand behind their governors. Sakaja should not bend nor succumb to pressure from Rigathi Gachagua. Johnson Sakaja is doing what no other governor has done. A step at a time. We support him. That is the tweet from the Kakamega County Deputy Governor, Mr. Ayub Savula. And for those who have been following the politics of the country of late, as far as Nairobi County is concerned, you all understand that this is a tweet that is coming after the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua openly chided the Nairobi governor and cautioned him of moving with speed to evacuate the public service vehicles that are flying Mount Kenya route from the CBD. And as if dust has not settled on this matter, the immediate former governor of Nairobi County, Mr. Sonko, joined his thoughts on this, and he sided with Rigathi Gachagua. And this is what Mike Sonko said. Mike Sonko is saying that if Sakaja continues to harass Nairobi people, we will mobilize people and send him home. And he goes ahead to say that we can also make the city ungovernable for him and finally send him home, just like the first governor. You see, without mincing words, ladies and gentlemen, we are staring at worshipping tribalism. And the people who are perpetuating this very act are our leaders. A few years ago, one of our beloved Pan-Africanists, the late John Pombe Magufuli, said something about Kenya and tribalism.
Nilikuwa nazungumza na Mheshimiwa Rais hapa, nikamuuliza Kenya mna makabila mangapi? Akasema ni 42, lingine limeongezeka la 43 la Wamakonde. Na mimi nikamwambia kwamba Wamakonde wako Tanzania, wako Msumbiji, sasa pia kumbe hapa Kenya pia kuna Wamakonde. Kwa hiyo tunazidi kuwa karibu. Lakini mimi nikamweleza kwamba sisi tuna makabila 121. Lakini tumekusanywa katika kabila moja la Waswahili na wa Tanzania. Nina uhakika kwa makabila hayo machache 43 mkishikamana, na mimi ni lazima niseme kwa sababu msema kweli ni mpenzi wa Mungu, mambo mengine yote Kenya ni excellent. Tatizo ni ukabila. Najua maneno haya yatawachoma kidogo, lakini lazima niwaambie hapa. Muumalize ukabila. Ukiisha ukabila, Kenya is the best country.
So ladies and gentlemen, I want us to look at these statements and try to really make sense out of them. Why do you think Mike Sonko is coming with these statements? Because in his statement, Mike Sonko is saying that he wants to collect signatures so that he can initiate the impeachment of Johnson Sakaja. And he mentions that Johnson Sakaja has been disrespectful to the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, and that he does not respect the UDA party that elected him into office. And his timing, like I said, is coming at a time when the Deputy President has expressed displeasure with the Nairobi governor, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Sonko is a very controversial politician, and he will always speak his mind. No wonder I have a feeling that Gachagua chose him to go and speak, because Johnson Sakaja is between a rock and a very hard place. He's standing at a point where he knows very well, taking cognizance of the fact that he was voted by both the Kenya Kwanza team and the Azimio team. And he wants to ensure that he balances this precarious political situation in a way that by the end of his first term, everyone will be happy. But it seems that while trying to implement some of his promises that he gave to Kenyans, ladies and gentlemen, he is rubbing shoulders with what I will call, quotes, the cartels of Nairobi. Why would the Deputy President chide the Nairobi governor in public rather than calling him for a quiet meeting somewhere in an office? They will always understand each other. And even after those statements, Gachagua went ahead, the Nairobi governor went ahead, and this is what he had to say, because he was questioned whether he was going to be intimidated by the statements of Rigathi Gachagua. And he said that there are certain things we cannot compromise on. It is about a stand, sticking to it and providing leadership. That is what Sakaja said. So, ladies and gentlemen, you will realize that this issue is taking a tribal shape. Because when I read the tweet from the deputy governor, all those who retweeted and was trying to answer to this tweet were saying, and most of them were lawyers, and I heard them saying, if you read, that if Sonko and Rigathi Gachagua wants to turn this into tribal politics, then they will know that we lawyers, we also have the numbers in the city. And I really feel this is painful, because we are turning a very serious matter into trivial political issues. We are now going back to our tribal cocoons, and the most painful part of it is that the person who is heading all these voices about statements about tribalism is our deputy president. Sonko is working for someone, and I dare say that he is working for the deputy president. Our deputy president had accused the former president of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta, of neglecting the Kikuyu nation. And so he wants to step in that shoes and show them that here I am fighting for you. But I have a feeling that he does not know his limits, because in trying to fight for the interest of the Kikuyu nation, he is also portraying a picture that he is a tribal kingpin. Sakaja campaigned, and during those campaigns, they were together with William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua and all the Mount Kenya fraternity, all the UDA and Kenya Kwanza fraternity, and he promised that he was going to bring back order and sanity in the city. He promised that he will give alternative parking for all the public service vehicles. And now when he wants to implement some of the things that he said, he is rubbing shoulders the wrong way with some of these investments. And Sakaja should and must tread carefully, otherwise he is staring at impeachment. Thank God that some of the closest allies of Raila Amolo Odinga, some of the MCAs that are allied to Azimio are supporting his bid, because I listened to Robert Alai, who is supporting Johnson Sakaja's bid to close all the clubs within the estates. Because at the height of Sakaja's controversy is that of the public service vehicles and the intention to close all the nightclubs within the estates. Now, if someone was telling me that Mike Sonko is a man who has got a lot of interest in the transport industry and even in the hotel industry. Remember, Mike Sonko came into the limelight as a member of parliament in Makadara constituency. And I understand, I'm told, that he's got several businesses in Buruburu. Buruburu Estate and Buruburu Center, that small town, is within Makadara constituency. And Sonko owns a number of vehicles that fly Buruburu CBD, that route. And someone was telling me that you cannot rule out a possibility that Sonko owns a number of vehicles that are flying Mount Kenya, flying Kikuyu area. Because some of these vehicles, or most of them, are operated under a SACCO. So that if someone has a bus or a vehicle, they will simply take them to the SACCO the SACCO will manage it for them and simply remit, the agreed amount of money to their banks. So someone was telling me that there is a possibility that Mike Sonko is a man who's got a lot of interest, because apart from owning vehicles that fly that area, he also owns some clubs within Buruburu. So when Sakaja issued this directive that is going to close bars and nightclubs within the estate, Buruburu is an estate, and there is a possibility that Mike Sonko is going to be affected. No wonder he has started these scary tactics that they are going to, impeach Johnson Sakaja. And if it is not Mike Sonko himself, then there are relatives and friends of not only Mike Sonko, but other affected MCAs. Because the MCAs, debated this and they reversed the decision of Johnson Sakaja to close the nightclubs. But Johnson Sakaja seems to be unmoved, because he said that he's not going to backtrack. He's going to ensure that he implements, the closure of these nightclubs. I have said before that when the governor and the MCAs are fighting and they have a lot of controversy, the Nairobians will suffer, because instead of concentrating on service delivery, they will be meeting in their own cocoons and mobilization, and those who want to defend Sakaja, and those who want him to be ousted from office, and there will be no time for service delivery for Kenyans and Nairobians. And so I have a feeling that this matter can be resolved by a meeting between these two groups. I don't understand what Sakaja will do when the MCAs have decided that he cannot implement this, yet they have reversed. I don't know whether he's got the authority to surpass what the MCAs have said. Yet the MCs are also arguing that when you close these nightclubs, there are people who are going to lose their jobs. And the MCs are saying that they should give the club owners some time, erect some soundproof materials within the clubs so that they don't make noise, because the problem here is noise. But instead of reaching an amicable solution, we are now going back to our tribes, and this is very dangerous. I was thinking that could there be a possibility that Mike Sonko wants to reinvent himself into the Nairobi politics? But I'm reminded that the Supreme Court had pronounced itself very clearly that Mike Sonko was impeached and he cannot contest. He tried contesting in Mombasa, but it didn't go well. So could there be a possibility that Mike Sonko is coming back to Nairobi? Or is he trying to make life difficult? Because there's something that he said that I want to remind. He said that we can also make the city ungovernable. Ungovernable for him, that is for Sakaja, and finally send him home like the first governor. So is there a possibility that Sonko wants to ensure that he engages in sabotage so that Sakaja does not implement what he promised Nairobians, so that when he will be seeking for his second term, then the scorecard will be very dismal, so that he will be sent home, because that is what he was saying, that now after making things ungovernable in Nairobi, then we will send him home. But wait a minute. Even if Sakaja goes home, but Sonko does not have the authority to contest, because the courts had pronounced themselves that he cannot contest. I don't know, remind me whether I'm the one who is forgetting. Was he cleared to contest? But even if he was not cleared to contest, I have a problem with our courts, because I've seen all the cases against Rigathi Gachagua and all the cases against Aisha Juma, including the one of murder, where the family is now crying that they really feel that justice was not done. If the Kenya Kwanza team, the UDA in particular, wants Sonko to come back to Nairobi, then they will sanitize him, because the courts and the executive are one. And so they can simply sanitize him and he will come to contest. What is really happening in Nairobi? And is there a cartel that is deeply rooted within Nairobi that no one can eradicate it? Who is this cartel in Nairobi? Because every governor who comes in will promise that they want to finish the cartels, but within a few days or months into office, they are one and the same thing. And it seems that when you want to take the bull by its horns, then you are the one who will go. In this case, it is either Cartels or Sakaja. I don't know how ready Sakaja is, ladies and gentlemen, but one of them will go. And I have a feeling that if Sakaja is not very careful, then he's the one who will go. The other question that keeps on bothering me is William Ruto pro or against Sakaja's moves? Because he had come out and pronounced himself that it's supporting Sakaja's bid to bring sanity within Nairobi. And he was supporting Sakaja to close all these nightclubs. But William Ruto is a populist politician. So I will not be surprised if William Ruto realizes that he's rubbing shoulders the wrong way with some of the investors in Nairobi. He will revoke some of these orders by Sakaja, and instead he will tell them, we will have a meeting, because William Ruto is obsessed by making sure that he wins 2027. And if there is anything that will stand before him and power in 2027, he will rather kick out any obstacle. And if interfering with the Nairobi businessmen from the Kikuyu Nation is what will block him from getting his second term, then he would rather accept and allow them to do whatever they want. When will we stand up and say that we can solve our issues without involving our tribes? When will Gachagua realize that he's a deputy president that belongs to Kenya, a Kenyan deputy president, not a Kikuyu deputy president? Is Rigathi Gachagua, for example, because some experts also believe that Sakaja is a young man, and the way he's endearing himself to the nation, very soon people will start calling him to deputy as William Samoei Ruto. Because according to the arrangement in the Kenya Kwanza team, it seems William Ruto, according to them, will do 2 terms and will hand over to Rigathi Gachagua. Now after 2 terms, Gachagua will be maybe 60 years if I'm not wrong. And then the country will be yearning, just the same thing that is happening ODM, you will see some young stars and young turks coming, and they will be telling Gachagua that it is now time that you leave the young turks to lead this party, to lead the nation. Could it be another reason why Rigathi Gachagua is mad at Johnson Sakaja?